Hey, I'm super stoked we're continuing our series on nomad living. I really like this. I think it's appropriate for the summertime because it's kind of we're hopping around and the question I have for you to think about is a vacation the same as being a nomad? Depends on your vacation. I remember one time we took a family vacation. Well, we did two. We did one to the East Coast, one to the West Coast, and it was a road trip. So we were hopping along. It was kind of a nomadic vacation. But in this series, we're talking about nomad as kind of an identity or, a season in your life. And we're talking in this specific episode about Jesus. Because the question is, was Jesus a nomad? And I think it's really interesting to ask that question, think about it, because in Luke chapter 9, verses 57 and 58, as they were going along the road, someone said to Jesus, "I will follow you wherever you go." And Jesus said to him, "The foxes have holes and the birds of the air have nests, but the Son of Man is nowhere to lay his head." If you think about it, in some respects, Jesus was somewhat nomadic and didn't necessarily have a home to lay his head. When we think about home, it's kind of the opposite of nomad. I want to encourage you to grab your copy of The Road Home. This is the newest book that Isabel and I have written, and it's a counterpoint to nomadic existence and kind of being that frenzied pace, always bumping around, jumping here and there. This is The Road Home. So I want to encourage you, grab your copy, get it on Amazon. Super, super great book. It's our newest one. I'm totally stoked about it. But coming back to Jesus, and the guy who was following him said, I want to hang out with you. But Jesus said, look, the foxes have holes and birds have nests, but I don't have a place to call home. Because Jesus traveled consistently. We know he went all throughout Galilee. We know he went into Samaria. We know he was, at Capernaum. I mean, that's an amazing city right there. And he walked all the way down Judean wilderness. He was led by the Holy Spirit into the wilderness for 40 days and 40 nights at the very beginning of his ministry. He went down to Jerusalem at least a couple times. So Jesus was constantly on the move. But I think one of the things that's important to think about with Jesus is he was on the move because of his ministry and his call and his passion. I think ultimately love compelled him to get around and be with people as much as possible. The only time you'd see him not with people is when he purposely took a break and went up to the mountainside to pray by himself. You can read that several times throughout the book of Luke. Other than that, he was with people constantly, whether it was on the Sea of Galilee at the edge, teaching everybody at the very beginning of his ministry, and then he calls Peter, James, and John into fishing, or away from fishing into following him, being his disciples. And then you see him walking and going here and there and this way. And then he winds up going across the Sea of Galilee and he meets up with a demon-possessed. So, Jesus was constantly moving and in motion. And at this time, there wasn't Uber. There wasn't, like speed trains or, beam me up, Scotty. We didn't have it. There's none of that. It was just Jesus on foot. And I think it's really important to think about this because as he walked, the same time he's walking, he's also pouring into his disciples who are with him 24/7. Whoa, stop, hold on just a second. Oh, this is your joke break. So, what happens when you wear a watch on an airplane? Time flies. Time flies, woo! Oh my goodness, you're like, that is so lame. I know, it's terrible. But, we have better content just here in a split second, right? He's got 12 disciples and they're walking with him. And I think that's a phenomenal way to learn who Jesus is taking a walk and walking. And I want us to just think about this for a moment. As you walk through the journey of life, then let us do our walk in the journey of life with Jesus. That each and every day we walk with Jesus. Jesus walks with us. That as we walk along the road of life, we're participating, we're connecting, we're aware. And this is something I pray almost every day. Jesus, help me to recognize that you're with me throughout this day and help me to be aware of you and also to interact with you. So whether I'm in my car, sometimes I stop the music, turn off the phone, I'm just talking with Jesus. and I feel like he's talking to me and we're having a conversation. I love to physically take a walk. If I can take a walk every day, phenomenal. Those are amazing times with Jesus. I love to walk with Jesus, as in W-O-K. So lame. I know, like cooking, right? That was stupid. But nonetheless, when I'm cooking, or I'm doing laundry, or I'm cleaning the house, or I'm whatever, running errands, I'm doing grocery shopping, I'm walking, if I'm traveling, even when I'm playing pickleball, I am walking with Jesus. And so we can have kind of a nomadic life, but we can also see life as we walk through the journey that we're walking with Jesus. So I'm really excited for us to do this series on nomadic living, but I'm even more excited to say we can walk with Jesus every single day, no matter what's happening or what season we're at in our lives. Now, I really want to encourage you, next week, we're going to see Jesus make a special, very special appointment to speak to somebody who was completely off his rocker. I mean, complete lunatic. So you don't want to miss next week.